Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you so much for tuning in to this official closing ceremony of the Academic Startup Program of 2020. And today we take a look on the last 4 weeks. What have the 10 finalists, what have they learned, and what will they do differently in the future? My name is Remy Gieling, and from our humble studio here in The Hague, we tune in from all over the Netherlands and also all over the globe. So let's take a look to whom we will speak to in the next half an hour or so, all around the world. We have the startups, we have the Consul General, we have Gigi Wang. Let's wave. Hello, all. Hi, guys. Good to have you here. We'll be with you in just a few minutes. Because here in the studio, I have two co-hosts with me today. And first of all, is that Pieter Duisenberg. Pieter, you are the president or chairman of, and I have to look up the official title, the Association of Universities of the Netherlands.
Correct. Yeah.
What is your personal affiliation with startups?
Yeah. Personally, it's my great interest. Perhaps also because I'm supposed to look at you or at the camera.
We can just
Okay.
look at
All
each
right.
other. Yeah.
Because I have a corporate background. Actually, also I've been active in a startup in my past years. But as an association, we think it is very important. We want to focus more on the impact side of universities and want to have more economic activity, more startups out of our knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Because in the universities, there are so many brilliant minds
Yeah.
with brilliant ideas, and we have to take that to market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so that's why, of course, this is something that universities have been focusing on now for the last decades. But we have increased that focus, and now for that reason, we went. I took a group of university leaders with me to San Francisco, actually, which was, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago to have a look at the San Francisco area and the startup environment. And the academic startup competition is one of the fruits from that visit. The idea of the startup competition came out of that visit, and because we had very good interaction with the consul general over there, very entrepreneurial consulate, and we said, okay, so can we combine? We pick the winners, we pick the most competitive startups, and we'll try to give them a program here in San Francisco or in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and in the next half an hour, we will see what those fruits have
Yeah,
brought
yeah,
to us all.
yeah.
Uh, on my other side, Dorit Roest, you are well known with all of the startups.
Yes.
Can you tell us for those who watching the live stream what it is that you are doing for the program?
Yes, of course. Well, I am sort of a host. I am helping them. I guide them through the program. Um, we are co-hosts at Holland in the Valley, initiated by our very entrepreneurial Dutch consulate, and together with Gigi, we are hosting the program.
You focus on startup mentality mostly.
Mhm.
What kind of mentality did you notice with these startups the past 4 weeks?
Um, well, you just said they are brilliant minds. That is what they all have in common. They have come up with brilliant solutions to global challenges that we want to solve together. But the thing they have in common as well is that they are way too humble about it. Yesterday, one of the investors at the VC's pitching competition actually said that Dutch startups usually underwhelm instead of overwhelm. We undersell ourselves, like maybe we will go public in 2 or 3 years. No, in Silicon Valley they say we will go public in 2 years. So that's a lesson learned through this program. I see a lot of them smiling because we've seen a lot of growth. Like yesterday they all pitched their company for the 100th time, and they did amazing and really showed that confidence and more of a seller mentality.
And is there also maybe some traction with some VCs they spoke to?
Yeah, definitely. Well, yesterday we had George from Skydeck, Berkeley Skydeck, and he literally said to Aman from Denoise, he said, "Do you have a prototype? How can I get it? I need this in my life." I mean, that is the best validation that you can have from one of the most important person. So yeah, I am very happy that that kind of traction comes out of this program.
Well, in a few moments, the three of us will interview the startups about what they've learned in the past few weeks. We're sort of the dragon's den of the academic startup program. But first of all, we have a quick compilation what has happened over the past few weeks. Let's take a look.
The biggest lesson about being an entrepreneur, or the main experience, is that there is a lot of overlap, actually, with being a researcher.
Most of us would know someone who is suffering from cancer, right? So you can imagine that person's life is what is at stake. And that's how at least we like to think about it.
Well, the first biggest moment that happened in 2019 was the collaboration with the Schiphol group.
Take as prime example Las Vegas. If you drive ever through there, you see a lot of signage. No one is talking about the amount of energy that you are using there.
The first response that we got from the big, especially Chinese solar module manufacturers was like, well, why are these two young guys even trying? So we had to really show that it worked.
Yeah, sometimes you have people that are cynical, or they say it's well, what we are doing is the right way and that cannot be better. And then you show them the outcomes of these clinical trials, and with these clinical trials you can convince them.
I was really looking for something that was very innovative and disruptive, so not just a little improvement over an existing technology, but something that would really change the whole scenery.
Financial skills, selling skills, making videos, leading a company, having staff and taking care of them. It's all the facets that you have to learn, especially when you are coming from academics.
The takeaway is big projects, big problems, small projects, small problems. And so really try to kind of make it small, make it meaningful.
Agriculture is really like sort of a Dutch industry, where we're worldwide, we're really good at this. So it feels great to sort of contribute to this, let's say, a bit of a national pride.
All right, we will talk to our first set of 5 startups who've been through the academic startup program in the past 4 weeks. And my first question, I hope he is here with us, Maurits from Bimini. He is?
Yes.
Can you wave? Where are you? Oh, over there. Yeah, very good. And my question to you is, what has been your main takeaway from the program?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So we as a biotech startup are looking always for funding and talking to a lot of biotech investors. And what we usually see is that we are really focused on the science and the technology and really diving in depth. But what you actually also need is to sort of simplify your story. And this is what we exactly learned in this program, by simplifying your story and spreading the message beyond just these biotech investors, because maybe they know another investor who is actually interested in this technology, that you can have a far bigger reach also within the US, just by making a more compelling story. And I think this is the key case that we worked on there in this program. So it was a nice experience.
Thank you, Maurits. So simplify your story. It's an important lesson. Pieter, you have a question for biometrics.
Yeah, for to biometrics. Are you in? Because I don't know your name. My apologies.
Bob
it's Bob. Okay. So if Bob is on the screen, I would like to know what has surprised you in the program over the past months.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, good. Okay. Well, actually,
I am
I've been
fluid.
on some of these missions.
Bob. Yeah.
I've been on some of these missions before, and what really surprised me was how practical the contacts and the network was that the Holland and the Valley group has set up. It wasn't just people with nice titles, but it was someone who can really help you in the day-to-day practical challenges that we all face. And whether you're a young entrepreneur or somebody as old as I think everybody had significant takeaways and value from this program. So great to be a part of it.
Thank you, Bob, and
Thanks.
so good to hear that that it was practical. That's very important. Dorit, you have a question for D-Noise.
Yes, for Aman, I actually referred to him just now about the VC's pitching competition. And to spice up the pitching competition, we had a funding game. So we asked all the VCs to allocate 1 million Holland in the Valley dollars to their preferred startups. And Aman actually received the most virtual funding.
Wow.
So congratulations on that, Aman.
We should put that on the blockchain.
Yes, but I'm curious what Aman thinks how pitching is different in the US than in the Netherlands.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the question, and I think you already touched upon it a little bit in the talk at the start. And that's something that I'm still reflecting on and learning, and was also the feedback from yesterday that in US it's all about looking forward, looking towards the future, while in Europe it's also quite a lot of story is about what have you done, what kind of things you validated. But in US, yeah, it needs to be there, but what you talk about during the pitch at least is the future ahead. And that's quite the change in the perspective in pitching.
Thank you, Aman. Really selling the dream, right?
Yeah.
That is what's
Actually,
amazing.
I called them up after the competition was over.
Oh yeah.
Because I was also interested in the product.
Really?
So I want to be the pilot. I've offered myself as a pilot. Okay.
Yeah, Pieter will be our guinea pig for all of the startups. I have a question for DigiBio. Also, I'm also curious what your main takeaway was for this program. So can you share it?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's only if you have a dedicated team that guide you through all of these, you can make it. So thank you very much for the organizers, to Michael, to Dorit, to Gigi, that really kind of walk us through all this process, and everybody else that helped make it as a possibility. But specifically, I think that the cultural difference is humongous. So you really need to kind of step out, understand how you communicate, what's the culture and how you communicate in the US. And then after that, I see that the value is really focusing on the network, on getting to the next meeting and meeting as many people as you can in this brief time. Be very concise in your story, in what you're pitching, but really kind of focusing on that and taking always in the back of your mind the understanding of it's a different culture, so you need to think about how you want to interact.
So focus and keep in mind the culture difference. Very good advice as well. And Pieter, you have a question for
I Am Fluidics.
I Am Fluidics, yes.
I already saw you on the screen a couple of times. Yeah, there you are. Michiel, so how can you reflect on how business in the US is different from the Netherlands?
Yes, so that's a good question, and Dorit already reflected on that. So I think the main difference is that in the US, you really have to overwhelm the customer or the investor, whereas in the Netherlands or in Europe, we try to tend to undersell our company or technology. So we changed our wording from we hope into we will. And I think that really was a key takeaway for me, at least, in participating in this program.
Yeah, much more bold. Yeah. I recognize it.
Cool, thank you so much. And we'll tune back into the startups for the second half of them. But first, we tune into the studio in San Francisco, where our cycling ambassador, Dirk Janssen, is already standing very early in the morning. We saw the sunrise over the city of San Francisco, which is very, very beautiful. Dirk, nice to have you with us.
Good morning, Remy. It's the first cloudy day in weeks in San Francisco.
You can't have it all. 4 busy weeks connecting the academic startups to. What are some of the concrete results you've seen?
Yeah, well, we heard some of the experience of the startups just now, and I think, it was great to hear that those were positive experiences because, as you understand, our most important aim is to create value for the participants. And I must say, we were honored to host them. It was fun to host them, to introduce them in our network, to be able to support them on their journey. not only during the last 4 weeks, by the way, but hopefully also in the coming weeks, in the coming months, because we will still be there for them. And I also must say that we have received many compliments from our network about the quality and about the drive of this group. And I think that's not bad coming from seasoned Silicon Valley entrepreneurs. But I think one of the coolest events in the program was a pitch and connect event with our Holland in the Valley mentors. And that works more or less like Tinder. You know, the mentors could swipe left or they could swipe right, and many swipe right. So on average, every startup now has 5 new mentors from Silicon Valley that really can help them grow. And I even heard that one of the mentors of Van Boven, one of the companies, he already went to a farmer's market to do some field research. So I think that goes to show the drive that our mentors have to help startups. But maybe the most important thing is that we really saw them grow over these 4 weeks. Their pitches improved. They were better able to understand and to articulate what the ecosystem here in Silicon Valley can mean for their company. And I think that might be the most important result.
Or some of the challenges you saw that these startups faced, and what did the Consul, what did the program do about it?
Yeah, well, I believe there are 2 main challenges for any Dutch startup that comes to the US. One is solid preparation, and the other is money. And by preparation, I simply mean, knowing who you're talking to, professionalizing your pitch. And it sounds obvious, but it continues to be a challenge for many Dutch startups that come here. If your pitch is not super sharp, you are wasting a valuable opportunity. And in the program, we try to help them reach for that super sharpness and to prepare them for the audience here in Silicon Valley, which, as we heard already this morning, is different from the Dutch audience or European audience. So they had time and they had a safe space to practice, to sharpen their pitch, and to prepare for the real thing. And that, of course, helps with the second challenge, money. As you know, venture capital is an essential part of the ecosystem here. 62% of all VC.
Well, this is our state-of-the-art studio.
Yeah.
I have to say that we have hosted so many online events in the last few weeks, and it always goes well. I'm not sure. Maybe the people at home still can see what Dirk is saying.
Yeah, maybe. It was some great advice from Dirk, and it's also I wanted to thank him because it's so amazing what the consulate is doing as a liaison for Dutch startups and helping them find traction in Silicon Valley. So
this is really our favorite consulate.
Yeah, mine as well. Mine as well.
In a way, we as the Dutch consulate actually had to pivot ourselves with the changing circumstances of COVID. This was one of the first virtual missions. We already hosted 2 or 3, but this was a 4-week program, and we had to experiment and innovate ourselves as well. And then you really see that entrepreneurial spirit coming out with everyone. So
in the consulate as well.
Amazing time and effort. So so we really would like to thank them. Hopefully they can see us. Maybe we can tune into Gigi. Maybe Gigi is still online. Gigi Wang, one of the mentors of the program. Let's take a look.
Did you know that they referred to her as the startup mama?
The startup mama, and I can see why. You told me before. You know Gigi. She doesn't know you yet.
So I was in a group when we visited with this. So everybody's back. And Dirk is there as well.
Dirk is there as well. Dirk. We just were talking about how much we would like to thank you. Spending so much time and effort helping startups get traction in the US. So we really appreciate it, and we hope to see you soon in real life once again.
I hope so too, and for us it's a pleasure. Thanks.
All right, so now we have the stream back online. I would like to introduce Gigi Wang. Dorit, you named her the startup mama.
Yeah, definitely.
Gigi, can you give us a quick introduction of who you are and what you do?
Oh, we don't have sound yet.
And we don't have sound yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Gigi Wang, and I've been teaching entrepreneurship and innovation with the Netherlands since 2012. And so I love working with Dutch startups. Currently, I teach around the world entrepreneurship and innovation for different universities and organizations. And I am an industry faculty at UC Berkeley. And it's good to see you again, Pieter. Since the visit when you came, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot we did after that trip that I will have to tell you about, but that's for a later moment.
For another time. And Gigi, I saw you speak many times. And you have so much wisdom that you always share with the startup, which is amazing. What kind of difference do you notice? You also work with American entrepreneurs a lot. What is the difference you notice in these Dutch academic entrepreneurs and maybe entrepreneurs who come from the universities of Berkeley and Stanford?
Yeah, so I've been working with ACE in Amsterdam since 2012, 2 cohorts a year. And so I've had a lot of experience working with Dutch startups and of course working with US ones. And one of the things that I really love about working with Dutch startups is they take feedback really well. You know, with the Dutch people, you can be really direct. If something isn't right, you tell them, you explain it, and they all take it really well. Like next time you see them, they thought about it and processed it. And so Dutch are very direct, and that's a very positive thing in the world of entrepreneurship.
If you have to put all of your wisdom you shared in the last 4 weeks into one advice, what would it be for these startups?
Keep going. Every one of you has an amazing company with amazing value proposition, and you got to keep going. Like one thing is, in one of my startups, we pitched to 50 investors before we got one, and that was the one that made it. So keep going, be ready to take rejection, and just keep connecting to people, because you never know who is going to be your stepping stone to somewhere else. Like once I wanted to get a meeting with Genentech, I ended up getting the link through my son's science in his high school.
Dorit?
Yeah, Gigi, hi. One of the things that you and I have in common, and we talked about a lot, is that we have a heart for more diversity in the startup scene. Could you tell us a little bit more on how this was part of the programming?
Yeah, so I tried to get speakers from different backgrounds, professionally, but also very much, people like, having women speak and, people from different countries that are in Silicon Valley. And so, for example, for academic week, 3 out of the 4 professors who spoke were all women, okay, including a top-notch machine learning professor from Stanford. And so by seeing women there, you start kind of everyone starts to realize that women have a big role to play in this. With regards to the investor pitches, I did try to get a woman. I have a really tough investor friend. She just got promoted to partner at Storm Ventures. Her name's Pastel Diane, and she really wanted to come, except the pitching day was the day she's getting her American citizenship. So
Next year, we'll try to get her once again as a true American citizen. Gigi, we'll get back to you in a second because it's time for our second round of startup questions. And we'll start. I'll start with a question from Jeroen from Kaminari. And I wanted to ask him, what has been your main takeaway from the program? Jeroen.
Yeah, well, besides all the things Dorit and others mentioned with underselling and underwhelming, it was great to be part of it. And I hope it will be also followed by a real live visit, because I think the personal contact is also very important. And what I also learned is here we tend to ask for, if you go for a Series A, for 2 or 3 million, but in the US you have to go for the big tickets because they tell you 1 million or 20 million. It's the same effort, same due diligence, and so yeah, prepare your budget asking, and also your pre-money valuation for these larger amounts. And I've never heard so many supers, greats, awesomes, and fantastics. And
that helps.
The atmosphere you're in, and especially want to thank Gigi for the local support with all the contacts.
Cool. And you have an amazing statue behind you, Jeroen. It looks,
Yeah,
it looks very cool.
Yeah, that's, I think that's how you call it, roofkunst in.
We'll not translate that one.
No, it just came from I think Koninginnedag market.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And Dorit, you have a question for Van Boven.
Yeah, for Cas. And Dirk actually referred to this as well. I believe already the first weekend there was one of the mentors doing research for Cas on a farmer's market. So I'm curious, Cas, what role did mentorships play in this program, and what did you get out of it?
Yeah, thanks. That was a great experience. So with our company, we provide harvest predictions for vegetable growers. And I think Gigi mentioned when we first met, like maybe in the US, there's these farmers markets where you might find interesting customers for you. So then one of the mentors reached out to me and called me and said, hey, I'm going to those farmers markets for you next week. What should I look out for? So I felt kind of humbled that someone on the other side of the planet actually took sort of their weekend day to help us. And I think that's sort of representative for the whole mentorship vibe. So all the connected experts were really helpful. And actually what struck me as most interesting is that some of them just reached out, not with a specific ask or something that they needed from us, but just to have a chat for 30 minutes and discuss our case and see how they could help us. So they were proactively finding out how they could benefit. And I think that well, it felt great to get that support. And for me, it resulted in a few different mentors that I can now reach out to for specific questions regarding financing or business development. So I think that's super helpful and gets us a really sort of easy way to get some feet on the ground in the US and help us also into the future.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
And the platform will actually remain open. So we have a digital platform with the whole Dutch ecosystem is onboarded as mentors, and the whole cohort will be able to stay in touch with all these mentors.
It sounds so cool. Can I join?
It is awesome. Yeah, I can show you. Powered by Mentor Jam, a startup as well.
Cool. Yeah. Gigi, you actually have a question for Lusoko.
Yes. For Jeroen, my favorite solar-powered signage company. I can't wait to have you all over. And so Jeroen, my question to you is, as we've gone through these 4 weeks together, what had surprised you during this academic startup program?
Yeah, thank you for your kind words, Gigi. I think I can summarize it in one word. It would be speed. And America, they really love to act, especially also in Silicon Valley. And things happen today, and tomorrow they might already forgot you or someone has beaten you. And I think there's a real big business difference between Europe and America there. They really love to act. Also, what we experienced is we're now in a digital world, of course, and connecting to people all over the world became quite a lot easier. And there's really a willingness to help you. I'm really looking forward to see also how the long-term relationships out of this will evolve. And I hope to also meet some of the great mentors that are on this platform.
Thank you so much, Jeroen and Gigi, of course. Pieter, you have a question for YouCrowd.
Yeah, exactly. To you crowds, so I'd like to ask from you where you see difference between business in the Netherlands and in the US. And I think especially with your product, at least the association that I've got with it is in these days of COVID, it must have been very relevant in the pitches that you did.
Yeah, that's true. We make software for simulating crowds in infrastructure, cities, and events.
And when looking at the US, I see three differences. First, our unrivaled simulation speed enables real-time simulation and cooperation, and that really fits well in the US. I feel a can-do mentality and an opportunity buzz that's missing in Europe. And second, I would like to, I also like the more effective and faster lead time of projects and contacts. It fits the speed of our simulation and user interface. And third, in the US, there are big software companies in the architecture, engineering, and construction domain that we are going to integrate with. So most of our integration partners with whom we see a great profitable potential are basically in the US.
Okay, so can I ask a follow-up?
Sure.
So do you see, so there is possibly also a follow-up for you after this program based on the people that you've met here in the past months?
Yes, that's true. We have now been connected to a big company and we are now talking to them for integration work. So it's a game company, Epic.
Okay,
it's a
super.
big one.
All
It's
right.
a big one.
Okay, super.
Yeah, thank you so much. And my final question is for Taylor and Michael. In the opening session, you had high expectations for the program. You are hoping to meet Elon Musk. So did that happen? And if not, how did you incorporate the lessons of your business?
So it didn't happen yet. And I think the first lesson that we had is that we need to work on the pitch. So also to get that introduction to Elon Musk. I would say the overall lesson that we had is that I think in the United States they sort of assume excellent execution. So if you talk with a Dutch VC, they always think like, well, let's see if you will make it. And if you talk to an American VC, they already assume that you will be the guy making it, but they ask questions about, but if you execute it right, how are you going to beat your competitor? How are you actually going to take up that big market? So they put it in a much more mature phase.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We're reaching the final minutes of our show. Pieter, I'm very excited about all of these startups. So I say, let's do it again next year.
Yeah, and I just learned that I should say not I hope there will be a next one.
Oh,
there will be.
There will be a next one.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. And so we continue on this track. We would very much like to continue working with the consulate in San Francisco in this way, with the Holland in the Valley. And also one other thing that we learned from Berkeley, from San Francisco visit from Gigi Wang was the setup of what is called their cyclotron road. And we actually launched our Faculty of Impact last month. So where we're going to pick academics, PhDs from the universities and mature them to startups. So we're continuing on this track, but the academic startup competition, there will definitely be a next one.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to it. Dorit, you have big plans as well, but they're a bit secretive. So if people want to know more, they should follow you on social media.
Definitely. For
Very
Holland in the
active.
Valley, there's a lot of cool things coming up.
The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come.
Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all, everyone who was here with us today, sharing their story. And if you want to know more about these startups, at emptysprout.nl, we post a video on each and every one of them once a week. So follow that platform as well. For now, thanks so much, and I hope to see you soon somewhere in real life. Take care.
See you at the closing drinks, everyone.
Close.
The academic startup program, a virtual digital mission to the West Coast.
Well, there's a lot of similarity, but the difference might be ones that they're probably IP-based. So they've developed some kind of a technology that's really exciting, and often they try to solve a big societal problem.
And there's a lot of opportunities here for you, so we can't wait to work with the academic startup winners to help you get the most out of it.
If you're spending the time and the focus and the willingness to learn, and you're not afraid to start from zero, you get there.
Diversity is part of the fabric, right? It's not just lip service and saying something, you want to do something and, oh, let's set a target and discuss how we reach those targets in your diversity numbers. But it's about action, and it's about education and creating awareness.
Good start.
Very good start of the program.
Do choose your priorities, and that's what you focus on during this this competition.
At first you go, okay, well, I pitch, maybe I need it for an investor info. But then again, you get the realization anybody around you can potentially help you with something.
It's great to hear about the importance of your story and bringing that across to the network.
Luckily, maybe you have some background done before, maybe in lab. Still, when you get in the company mode, it takes a very long time.
I was wondering, from the bank's perspective, how do the banks support an early stage startup?
What was maybe the most important one for you?
How can we get VCs on board for a European medical device company that's still in a phase that's another 2.5 years to the first cement files?
But in that same round, we already attracted a few VCs. So we work with thousands of startups.
Think about who you want to meet. Reach out to people.
Where do you see the differences in the mindset between entrepreneurs from the Netherlands?
I think it's the realization that you're not alone in this.
Making a feasible planning and R&D assessment.
The whole point of what you guys are all doing is something new, right? So the only thing what you can get from information is like similar startups or scale up.
Deze weer een andere sessie, hè? Volgens mij zit het in een andere sessie. Is dat nu? Ja.
Yeah. Goedemiddag.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Dorit. Hi, Gigi.
Hi, Michael. Sorry, I was in a hurry to to get my laptop, but it all worked. It was so great seeing you all in the studio.
Good interview. Thanks. Okay, well, we've come to the final, and Dorit and I prepared a speech together, and we wanted to share a few slides, just look back on what happened, the journey that we took together, but also then look to the future, what's next, because the party is not over. This is a journey that will continue. So we want to dive into that. But Dorit, maybe you can first just look back to this wonderful journey that we had together.
Yeah, I would love that. If you have one more second, then I'm making sure that I have the slides ready here. All right. One more second. Yes. All right. Yeah, time for a closing speech. I'm almost a bit sad, I have to admit. But I think it's important that we take this moment to reflect, because 4 weeks ago, you all embarked on a journey, a virtual mission to the West Coast. And I know that you are all pioneers at heart as entrepreneurs, but who knew that you would take part in one of the first virtual trade missions? It definitely was a pivot from our side, as I just mentioned in the talk show, challenging our own startup mentality at the consulate at Holland in the Valley for Gigi. But I'm proud of the result. It has been a successful experiment. For example, going virtual gave us the opportunity to prep you better and organize more sessions to help you sharpen your pitch, to learn about funding, about US mindset, about the VC ecosystem, and many more themes. But we also needed a new way to bond and introduce the one-on-one intakes with Michael, with Gigi, Walter, with myself. And time flies. We already started with the prepping program 4 months ago at the end of November 2020. So we've been on this journey for 4 months already. And now I'm going to share my screen because I also want to visually guide you through our whole journey. Because the official kickoff, February 8th, instead of welcoming you at the airport, we welcomed you with a virtual talk show from The Hague, the same studio as I'm in right now, with Prince Constantijn van Oranje, the special envoy as tech lead, waving you off and wishing you good luck. The whole setting, just like today, and our host Remy from Sprout definitely added some glamour to the kickoff. And after thorough one-on-one coaching session, the pitch coach David Beckett, you were all more than ready. It was time to introduce you to our mentoring ecosystem in the Valley with a pitch and connect event. We mentioned that in the talk show as well, but we introduced a fun Tinder-like element and asked the mentors to swipe left or right based on their first impression. And that way we already established 88 potential mentoring relationships. Wow, I mean, what an opportunity it proved to be to take this event online, to arrange that many mentors and a virtual swiping system at a live physical event would have been way more challenging. And next up was a mentor masterclass with seasoned entrepreneur and mentor Dennis Tan to enthuse you to make the most out of each mentorship on the digital platform powered by Mentor Jam. The masterclass was followed by a fireside chat with alumni from last year from Spectrex, from Mosa Meet and ArtroSafe, and an expert panel with Gerald Wiebe and Dennis. Many eye-openers, inspiring anecdotes, and a great atmosphere, most of all, to set the tone for the following weeks. So very happy with that. Then the weekly coffee sessions I hosted on they were perfect to just huddle up, so to say, to share how we were all doing, for me to brief you on the upcoming week, but also to bond with each other, to set intentions, to share goals and see how you can help each other with that. Also very important with a normal trade mission.
The next sessions were all hosted by incredible power women. Gigi hosted the session on entrepreneurship and innovation mindset. Rachel Powers talked about product development, and Cynthia opened the conversation on AI and ethics. Very relevant, and here as well, many eye-opener. Show Me It Goes opened our eyes for sorry about that. On the importance of a data strategy. That was the eye-opener, definitely, with his crash course to Silicon Valley. And it was followed by the virtual company visit to Kaiser Permanente Innovation Center. And we learned all the ins and outs on how healthcare and the medical system in the US is organized. Then week 3 ended with the investor panel, your opportunity to fine-tune your pitch once more, but most importantly, to ask your questions on funding directly to seasoned investors. Alexi Andreev from Autotech Ventures and Pieter Moran as a health tech investor. It was a special session, definitely. A lot of interaction. Very happy with that. And we definitely saved the best for last, because yesterday evening we hosted the VCs pitching competition. Your chance to pitch your company in front of 4 VCs. We had George from Berkeley Skydeck. We had Carl from Health Tech Capital, Matt as former head of energy of SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, and our trusted partner Gerald Brady from Silicon Valley Bank. It was amazing. It was fireworks. You have all worked so hard on delivering your story. Every one of you took huge steps, and that's what we're here for. We want to help you share your story, establish relationships here in the US, well, actually there in the US, and make sure you can make your impact, leave your mark, and help us solve those global challenges together. What is our ultimate goal? So now what? There has been talk of an after COVID reunion. Jeroen already mentioned it in the talk show as well. But even though the title of this event is saying closing event, we really see this as only the beginning. Michael, over to you. You're going to zoom out a bit first and explain more on what it means to remain part of the Holland in the Valley community. And you will tell us a bit more on what to expect next after that, right?
Yeah, thanks, Dorit. Thanks for that overview. It's been a great journey. So what's next? Let's talk about level up. How can we lift the Dutch ecosystem to the next level? So startups, as you know, are a driving force of the NL new economy, as Constantine always says. Next slide, Dorit. 250,000 jobs created by startups in the Netherlands, double-digit growth, 17 unicorns, and the Netherlands has a top 5 position in Europe. So this really sounds great. 10,000 startups in the Netherlands, but only a small number of those 10,000 startups are actually scale-ups. So that's the other side of the coin. The conversion ratio from startups to scale-ups is low compared to the US. In the Netherlands, it's only 16%. In the US, it's 51%, and in the Bay Area, it's more than 60%. So clearly, something is stopping this movement that we have in the pipeline. Now, if we look at the level of investment in the US, and 95% of the companies we get in Holland in the Valley are looking for funding, as you guys are as well. Last year, there was 1.8 billion available for startups in venture capital money, which is great because this is 38% more than the year before. But if we look a little bit deeper into those numbers, we can see that only 6% actually went to the seed stage startups. So if we all say that, hey, the conversion ratio from startups to scale-ups is low in the Netherlands, we can already see here where the real problem is. So we need to support seed stage to early stage companies. And this is why we've built this program for you. Next slide. Because the mandate is very, very clear. Dutch startups need to look outside of the borders, start scaling a lot quicker. And we want to help you on your international ambitions. Next slide. So what if the Dutch government is going to invest even more in innovation and entrepreneurship? What if we can build a fast track for startups to really scale? What if we can turn the Netherlands into the #1 global breeding ground for unicorns? But this is a long-term play. This will take around 10 years to do this. It's an investment. Next slide. But if I tell you that in principle, we have all the ingredients together, things are available, and it of course starts with great startups that we have with you guys. We just need a green light. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to continue this journey? What we want to do is provide you access to the critical scaling resources that you need, the talent, the knowledge, the technology, capital, and the markets that are out there in the US. Next slide. And moving quickly into an ecosystem as Silicon Valley is well worth it. In the words of the CEO of Adyen a few weeks ago, having top VCs like a Sequoia Capital on board marks your company as a likely success story. Dutch VCs just don't have the same network. So we really need to cross that bridge. We have to connect the Netherlands and the US so that the startup founders, the companies, the promising companies can really grow as fast as possible. We need that. We need that to create wealth in the Netherlands, to create jobs and have great companies. Next slide. So our mission will continue also after we finish today. We are here to help the most promising Dutch startups and scale-ups launch their business in the US. And in this program, we were focused specifically on the Bay Area. But obviously, things will continue. We have a house, a digital house, that not only covers Silicon Valley, but also the rest of the US. And we gave you the keys. You're part of our family. So please make use of our resources. Next slide. Like our academy that is there. And you will notice that if you compare this to a few months ago, it increased further. So we keep on investing into our academy. Also, we will be producing all kinds of new events. Keep it on this slide. All kinds of new events in the next few weeks. There's going to be a Pitch and Connect event in Austin around South by Southwest. And some of you have been invited for that event as well. Then yesterday, my colleague Mark was there to really scout for companies in the biotech digital mission to Boston in May. And there's Chris Smith, the VC of Energy Innovation Ventures, that will have one-on-ones with 4 startups in the next few weeks. So this is great follow-on. But also have a look at LA. Stay tuned for that, because the West Coast is really important for us. If we look at food and agri, if we look at health, if we look at energy transition, then the next stop for us is LA for further support and development. Now, one thing remains for sure. The initiative belongs to you. So we would like to ask you to proactively build and expand the network and to really follow up with the people that you've met throughout our program. We'll stay in touch. We will organize check-in sessions with you just to see how you're doing and how we can further support you. I know that Bas Rogaar from Mentor Jam is also hosting a few bonus, what we call bonus sessions in the next few weeks. So there's a lot of follow-up going on. And we will, together with the Ministry of Economic Affairs and the VSNU, talk about other ways to keep the engagement going. Okay, so in the words of serial entrepreneur, next slide, please, Dorit.
Sweet.
Onno Faber, it's one slide before this. He's the CEO of Rarebase, and he has an amazing story. He moved to the Bay Area in 2012. Back then in the Netherlands, he had a startup. He could only raise 50K for half of the shares. Of course, he didn't do that. That was crazy. He went to the Bay Area. He managed to raise millions, and now he's in his third startup, which is called Rarebase, focused on a specific disease. Really inspiring entrepreneur. And he told me just last week, my biggest regret was not coming to the Valley sooner. So we really want to connect you in the best possible ecosystems so that you can scale. And we believe that is Silicon Valley. Now, fortunately, you guys are early stage and you're already embedded and immersed in our ecosystem. So that's it. We will continue the journey together. We will stay in touch And what I want to do now, I just want to close with a few thank yous, because there's been lots of people involved, people that you've met, but also some of the people you haven't met. So I want to start with a big shout out to Gigi Wang. Gigi, thanks for co-hosting, co-organizing the program. It's been really great, and love to continue to work with you as well. And we know that you will be there for the startups also in the next weeks and months. Dorit,
Yes.
over to you.
Yes. I would like to thank Walter van der Weijden, our silent power, our daily rock, keeping everything going smooth behind the scenes. Thank you very much, Walter.
Yeah, then two wonderful colleagues here at the consulate, Milena and Aisha. The invisible hands, and I'm looking at Milena on my left, she's sitting there. You guys have ensured a flawless operation all of these weeks, and handling this operation is not easy, it's quite a ride, and this is a great team. Although we don't see you on stage, we could not have done this program without you, so Milena, many, many thanks, you did a wonderful job.
Definitely. And on behalf of the technical team here in the studio, I have to thank our TV alumni, Sietse from the consulate. You were in charge of the talk shows. You made sure the startups had their voices heard, created all the necessary exposure. So thank you, Sietse.
Yeah, to some of the other colleagues, of course, our Consul General, Dirk Janssen, for all his support, to Vincent Storymans, the Deputy Consul, for the day-to-day management, making sure that this is all possible. Thank you to our Holland in the Valley partners, ASR Insurance, Shell, Arcadis, Hall 24K, Palo Alto Networks, Wilson Sonsini, NL in Business. There are many, Stanford Consulting, but of course, Silicon Valley Bank that have been there all the way. To the Ministry of Economic Affairs, the VSNU, to Techly, to Ilona. Ilona, I know that you're in the call. You've been in the program high from the very first start. Thank you all for making this this possible. Then a personal note, Dorit, my business partner, Dorit. There's nothing like the soul of a woman. You and I are also founders, right? We're founders of a startup, but it's called Holland in the Valley. Thanks for all your creativity, your professionalism, but also your relentless focus on delivering quality, on value to the companies. You've been such a positive spirit all around us. Now, business success, as you know, it starts with a team. And I think we are a great team. And as a successful female entrepreneur, you are a true inspiration for me and a rock for our company, Holland in the Valley. Let's continue to climb mountains. So I would say onwards to the next challenge, and we will continue the mission together. Many thanks, Dorit.
Wow, Michael, I did not expect that. Thank you very much. I didn't prepare such a nice story for you, but I have to say, Michael, thank you. Thank you for your experience, for your perseverance, for your go-to mentality that we all confirm on a daily basis. I really agree with you that this is a great team. I feel that the vibe in the whole group, including the startups, including everyone in the organizing team, is even though it's online, I really feel that we sort of became a family. So that is amazing. So thank you, Michael. I also wanted to just point out that we also should thank Mentor Jam, Bas, Julian, and Estelle. The platform played a central role and will continue to play a central role in the coming months, years, who knows. So we will be and remain your open house also in the future. And then Michael, maybe a last word to the startups.
To the startups, you are amazing. There's nothing better to work with such great founders, supporting you in building your companies, helping you to realize your dreams, to make it happen. Some of you really want to change the world, save lives, deal with the challenges we have. You are the foundation that the Netherlands needs to sustain our future economy. So keep up the efforts. We understand and we know that startup entrepreneurship can be very hard at times. So please remember, the salto mortale, we are here with our hands reaching out to you when you need us. So hope to see you again soon in San Francisco. And now let's toast and let's celebrate. Let's go over to the social networking part of this event. Many thanks, starters, for being there, and love to keep in touch with you.
Yeah, and Milena, you can start dividing us in the different breakout rooms. For everyone here, get your drinks ready. We will host you from our favorite bars on the West Coast.
Oh,
There we go.
Op het scherm, ja. Ik zag dat ik nog op in de slide zat.
Hello.
Michael, I don't hear you.
Oh, we're back.
Ah, there you are. Hi, Bob.
Oh,
yeah.
The
Hear me?
invitation again.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, Milan is organizing that we are going to be moved into another room. So so I thought, hey, wow, what a big room! And I already was in a room with Aman. But we're moving into the second room. Does everybody have a drink? Drinks are on the table. Good guys. Well, yeah, Federico, I don't have beer. Yeah, Gigi. You know, this is early morning here, so I still need to survive the rest of the day.
Campaign.
Just trying to do some.
You know, it's very culturally dependent.
Maybe if everyone can hold up their bottle, we can take a group picture. I will do it. If everyone can say.
Give me 1
cheers.
second, Dorit.
Oh,
One
1 second.
second.
1 second, they're getting some drinks.
A colleague is going to join us.
Gigi,
Well.
I love how you did this.
Cheers.
I printed it at 12 midnight.
Oh, really? Okay. So everyone
Everyone, you can
ready?
switch on your camera. Okay, everyone. Lots of love, all the best, and don't forget to enjoy the startup entrepreneurship ride as well, because it is really an amazing experience to build such a company. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
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 Okay, that works.
It works.
Oh, it's so fun. Okay, I will share it later on.
What time
We
do you
can
have
do,
to tee off, Gigi?
What? Say that again?
Gigi, you were going to play golf.
Oh yeah, I am gonna play golf in 2 hours.
Yeah. That's what you said.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, you go to walk 18 holes.
Am I gonna do 18 holes? No, today I'm just gonna do 9. And then we're going to an outside restaurant and celebrating a girlfriend's. Oh, a girlfriend of ours just got acquired. Her company just got bought, and so she's treating us all to lunch.
So very good. Okay, have fun. I have to go to. We have to go to other breakout rooms.
So we're going to another final networking session, and that's it then for now. And obviously we will be checking in the next few weeks. But so we will have a final 10 minutes together, and I really hope to see everyone next time I'm in NL. I'm planning to come in April, so stay tuned, and I'll reach out to you guys just to have a walk, maybe in the formal park or you know, any other place in well, Amsterdam, just to have a chat further on and see if I can help you a little bit more. And so we're going into the final one. I'm looking at Elaine if it all works out. Yeah, she needs a minute to actually do that. Hey, so Gigi, in 2 hours golf, right? Not a lot of time before of that because of the program. We were really busy. This is great. That's a great way to relax.
I'm gonna put your so Jeroen from Lusoko just pitched and they at a different event, and they're going to China.
Really?
Nice.
Congratulations.
But I'm sorry, anyways, I just gave them some advice for China.
If I can share some tips what not to do in China, please let me know. I spent 8 months over there and I did all the mistakes.
Okay, so we're going into the final networking round. Okay.
Well, I hope everyone had just as entertaining stories as we had in the last room. Anecdote from Michiel in China. Love it.
I made a mistake, to be honest and fair. I got the Lashuf, and it's a huge bottle. So it's been very engaging.
Are there China stories we can spend all evening when we meet in April, May? I have plenty.
Bob, I need to ask you about the IPO. That's it.
Oh yeah, worst 2 weeks of my life ever. You think it was hell, to put it bluntly. And I was young, so
yeah,
that's saying a lot.
It's like all the good parameters, kind of finding each other. A young guy, never done that. Great.
The best thing you're in these conference rooms where you say, "Oh, just sell this table. That will fund my company for the next 6 months." You don't need to invest any money. So.
Yeah, I saw that. I was at the Mumbai Tower in San Francisco some time ago, and then I came up and I was like, "Where am I?" And it was crazy. It was a crazy experience. See, a whole San Francisco, 306 degrees. I actually even tried to take a picture, but my phone couldn't take it. It's just this was so much. It was crazy.
For me, it's the most beautiful city in the U.S. So, if I had to pick a place to live, it would be San Francisco.
Yeah, we lost our heart in San Francisco. Hey everyone, many thanks, and then please also remember the stories that we together had in this program. Love to see you in a few months, either here or back in the Netherlands. I wish you all the best, lots of success, have fun, and make sure you reach out to us. We will be in touch from our side, but I really want to encourage you to be proactive and follow on the leads that you've built in the network. Work on those relationships. It's really important. Many, many thanks for being part of this program. And for us, it's been a tremendous privilege to work with all of you. So thanks, and see you next time.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks,
Walter.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dorit.
Thank you,
Guys,
Dorit.
good luck. Well done.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hole in one today, Gigi.
What?
Hole in one today.
Thank you very much, Gigi.
Bye.
Bye-bye.